These Monday morning meetings. Be on with a happy smiley face. It didn't add it with the image. Good morning and welcome to another episode with me, Carolyn from Crafting with Glorious Purpose, where here we do custom and unique gifts for you or for that special someone. This week is the week of July 20th. So today's the 21st. We've got some stuff that we didn't do last week that we're going to try to work on this week. I did get some keychains prepped, so I'm going to be pressing those this morning. And I have, I shipped out the order that I had received on Friday. So that went in the mail over the weekend. And I'm hoping to, if I'm looking at last week's list, I added a few things on here, but I did get all my scratch off cards done, so those are all completed. I love how they turned out. I just need to replace these in my bags, so I have my stack all completed, and I shuffled them so I don't know which ones are which. I'm going to start off with 10, 20, and 25 to start, and then maybe add some bonus ones in here later, but these should get me through upgrading all my bags first, which is the priority at the moment, so that I have them ready for my event in August. My next event is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 weeks away if you're counting this week. And I want to make sure that I have the cards ready, and I have them in Big Cartel set up. I just need to put them in my Square account so that if somebody would come to a show, that I have the same percentage in there so that I can offer that as a discount. I need to make, let's see. So I have my sheepdog and my bull terrier. So I need those. I have these partially started replenishing, but I also now need to do a Rottweiler and a Weimar. Yeah, you know what I mean. I can't pronounce it. So I'm going to add those to it so I can cut 4 at once and just get them out of the way. And then that will be for my decals. And let's see. Yeah. So yeah, I'm on the early shift this week, so I'm going to use this time as wisely as I can. And then maybe tomorrow I can reevaluate the list, but I kind of want to get these couple things knocked off the list. So let's get that press started. well, these turned out really cute. So I did 2 different Shetland dogs, only because when I looked it up, both of these came up and I thought, you know what? It might be a good idea to have 2. So I have the regular Shetland that kind of looks more like a collie. And then I have the blue Merle. And I've seen the blue Merle a few times. So I thought it might be good to kind of have that as I figured if I'm pressing them, I might as well press them. And then I had replenished the Samoyed because I sold that at my event, and I added the Staffordshire Staffordshire Bull Terrier. So that's this little guy. And I also sold a Rottweiler, but I had a backup. So I have him. I can just put him from my my backup stash into the mix. So he will be, I won't have to make that one. So I have these ready to go. I just need to put the chains and the little dog paw charms on them. I also placed an order this weekend with Amazon in the Amazon haul section. I don't know how many of you are familiar with it. It kind of reminds me when I did purchase from Temu. I purchased from Temu a while back, I think when I first started, and it was just too chaotic for me and unreliable with the shipping times and getting things. So I opted to stay away from that. But I guess this is their version of it. So I needed to order $25 to save on free shipping, and I needed to get more of the paw charms. So when I bought the paw charms, I think they were like, I want to say either $6.99 or something for a pack of 100. I forget what it ended up being, or I could be way off, but I found them on there for $3. So I was like, all right, I'll just get them there. And then to save on the shipping, I got some supplies I knew I was going to need or needed and I forgot about. So I got this, it's an actual mixed variety pack. I got this for like, I think $7. But there's, let's see, it's one by, I was trying to see, I think it's maybe 2 of the dark or the green, or one of each. Maybe there's a purple one there too. So yeah, I think there's a one of each. So the standard grip, light grip, and then holy crap, this is coming off the mat grip. So that actually came separate, which I thought was weird. I think there was supposed to be a part that was coming today, but that came yesterday, which I thought was very odd. But I got some more of the sewing clips. So like the little quilting clips like this. They had a pack of 100 for $2. And I think I got these 25 and it was like $12 or something. Michael's has them for very expensive. And I got some at Hobby Lobby. I got those ones at Hobby Lobby, which were cheaper, but yeah, I need them for my bandanas and clipping wristlets and things. So I was like kind of using these, sewing them, taking them off, putting them on the next group and trying to go through. So I figured a little extra on hand wouldn't hurt. So I have those. And I honestly forget all that I ordered. I think I ordered some cello bags because I know I would need those. But I didn't order anything that I didn't think I was going to use. The one thing I wish I would have grabbed was heat tape because I'm low. I'm on my last roll. And I didn't realize that until after I placed the order. So I would have grabbed that, and that probably would have put me over to my $25 so that I could get free shipping. So yeah. So all in all, we'll see what happens. I'll show you them as I get them. But I'm going to work on getting the chains on these, and then I will need to print the backer cards for the dogs. I will also have to, now that I'm thinking about it, I will have to add 3 new dogs in there so that I can make the cards for them with new SKU numbers so that I can add them into the system. And yeah, my morning's going faster than I thought because I do have a meeting at 8:30, so that gives me only a half hour, not an hour. But I can extend my lunch. So that's what I think I'm going to end up doing, is trying to get some prep done so that at lunchtime I can kind of hit the ground running and get some of this little stuff checked off my list. And so let's get back to it. All right, I got my backer cards printed. I added them into my new data merge, and if you want to see how I did that, I'll leave a link up above to the video where I did the data merge for these in InDesign, Adobe InDesign, and it saved me some time adding the SKU numbers and the name of the dog breeds for each one of these. So check it out if you haven't already. And it's nice because it comes with these cards, and it comes with the little bags for them. So since they're plain, they're not kind of like the coasters where I kind of felt like I couldn't put my brand and stuff on them. These actually worked out pretty nice. So they have a little hang tag at the top. I don't currently hang them, but I have the option if I need to. So I might be reworking how it looks, but there is one finished. So I'm going to do these last three, and then I got to get logged into work here. This morning, these Monday morning meetings, not a fan. I'm already dragging to get my butt into work and then having to be on with a happy smiley face. Not there at Monday morning, but you know, that is the way it goes in the corporate world. So I am going to save the rest of my stuff for my lunch break, and hopefully I can get a lot of stuff crossed off my list today. And there's my meeting reminder, and hopefully there's the hole. We can cross off a good bit because I kind of want to start working on some new stuff. I did some doodling yesterday. We picked up watching a new show called Blind Spot, which I think has been out for a while, but it has the girl from Marvel, Lady Sif, if you know who that is. I'm a definite Thor and Loki buff, but she did her own series called Blind Spot. If you haven't seen it, check it out. We're a few episodes in and it's actually pretty good. So while we were watching that, I was doing some doodling. So I got these done. I can put this in my done bin here and get those added into Square. And then I gotta sit and play with trying to get logged into my computer, because it, a lot like me, doesn't want to log in on Monday mornings. So I got to make sure that I'm able to get in before I try to roll in at 8:29. So I will catch you guys at lunch and we'll start cooking on some of this stuff. Well, lunchtime is here, folks. So forgot to hit record. Was eating my sandwich and then realized, well, too late now. But I got all of the vinyl decals completed and with the transfer tape and such. So we've got the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, the Shetland, the Wyman, you know what I mean, Bulldog, King Charles, and the Boxer. And I have the Roddy done, but a little piece fell off, so I got to fix him. But these are all packaged and ready to go. I just need to make the little labels for them. I am going to need to enter these into my Square, that these are completed, so I can put these in my list or my pile. I have my keychains replenished, and I think the next thing that I'm going to work on is possibly looking through my missing stock for what sold at the last event and try to figure out what else I can make. So I know most of the stuff that sold was Christmas themed, and I'm not quite ready to make more gift card holders just yet. Mainly because there's a couple other things that I want to get off my list for upcoming summer shows that take precedent. So I do have a lot of gift card holders to make. I sold out of almost all of them. I think I have like maybe 5 left, if that. So I think what I do want to concentrate on is coming up with, since I'm in label or decal mode, is making the little labels to put on those, and trying to figure out if there's a better way to do the names. So what I have right now, let me grab one of these. So this one is one of the A's. So I have the Australian cattle dog. I have it with the little tab that wraps around with the SKU number. And I'm wondering if there's a better way to do that, where I don't know. Like I said, I was trying to think about this in the last video. The way I treat these keychains is I put the name and the SKU number at the bottom, and I have these as a data merge. So then when I run these through, I can just print them for the dog specific by page. So I can just say print page 72 and it'll print that little card and it has everything on it. And I'm wondering if I might just do that with these and eliminate having to put this little sticker on there. I did pick up the roll of tan colored, if you saw that in the last video, these non-Munbin thermal stickers. They did work. I think I might have thrown them away. They did work, but they weren't very crisp. And I think it's because they were moving when they were going through, because the Munbin doesn't close smaller than an inch and a half. So that means I have a 1/4 inch on each side where this is just gonna kind of go. And I took a couple scraps of foam core and made 1/4 inch guides to kind of put it in there. and it still moved. So I got to figure out a way to make that a little more solid and see if that prints better. But the sizing worked. I did get it to work. So I'm going to have to play around with that for a little bit. But that would be probably, if I still stay with the sticker option, I think I'm going to move from this is putting the name of the dog in there and then put the SKU number in there. So I can just plop and put that on. But I also want to use these as my labels, and so I don't have to print a full sheet of my logo. So still gotta work on that. Trying to find the best way to make that work. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I've only got 10 minutes left, so I think what I might do is just kind of relax. I'm really struggling today only because I woke up with a monster of a headache, and I am like kind of over today already, and it didn't even really start. I just not feeling it today. I struggled through most of this morning, and it's lunchtime and I still have it. I'm going to go whip myself up some caffeine and seeing if that helps. But water didn't help. Food didn't help. Aspirin didn't help. So on to caffeine in large doses. So I'm going to leave you, and we will catch up tomorrow and hopefully be in a better state of what needs done. I'd like to tomorrow tackle the missing stock and figure out what else I will need to make to replenish what I currently have before I start making new stuff. But I do have some additional decals that I'm thinking about making. And then I have I still want to get that email signature done. So I think I might move those two to tomorrow and have those work. And then think some more about how to do these decals with the SKU number on them. I don't think it'll be too hard just running this through the printer a second time and then running the name of the dog with the SKU number above, because most of the dogs, it'll fall as long as I center it. Even if it's a little bit covered, I'll know what it is based off of, but I don't have any dogs that go the whole way up. I left kind of some space. Some dogs don't even come up that high because they're shorter dogs, but it's the ones that have the bigger ears that stick up. Like this one might be a problem. This one's the Puggle, and just the way he is, he kind of goes all the way to the top. So maybe I'll have to think about this one, and maybe make it a little different, but that's kind of where I'm at. I think that's going to be my plan of attack for tomorrow, is working on that. So I will catch you tomorrow. Good morning and welcome to Tuesday. So last night I got a lot done. And I will show you some of the stuff that I did. The one major one is I did finish my new YouTube banner. So that is live. So you should see it on my page right now. I was able to make some little graphics with some of my products. And I have those as just kind of like outlines, just to kind of bring it a little more on point. And I think I'm going to sprinkle that same color throughout my thumbnails as well. So I believe you can go back through and change your thumbnails if you wanted to. So I think I might go in there and change the pink a little less from the pinky purple to the dusty pink that I'm using. I also got my email signature done, but so I use a Mac, so I have my Gmail account run through the mail program that they have, which is the default mail program on the Apple products, and it won't let me resize it. Like, I did it to the specs that I Googled for what the email signature images should be, and it stretches it so big that it looks pixelated. So I want it to be smaller, and I can't grab it. There's no handles to resize it. So I'm going to try to go through my actual Gmail and add it in there and see if that makes a difference. I'm thinking that it does. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it will adjust correctly so that it's not so huge. It's bigger than everything in my email window. So probably user error there, but I did make a little signature taking those same elements but deleting all the little stuff and just leaving the logo and the character of myself. So I have that completed. I just need to make sure that it's applied correctly. So that is almost done. And I think today I'm going to spend it. Oh, the other thing I did was I set up a data merge in InDesign for these. So I have it with the dog name and the SKU number here in the middle. I do have the one pup, which is the longest one, the Nova Scotia Duck Tolling Retriever, which is a mouthful. That one is the biggest one I have, so I set that one up first so that I knew where it would fall and how big it was, and then set up the merge for the other ones. So any of these going forward, I'm going to print right on it what the dog is, so that I don't have to deal with putting stickers on the packaging. We'll see how that goes. If it's too cumbersome, then I can just skip it. But the nice thing is I still can print the backs and the fronts in bulk, have them ready, and then whenever I get an order or I need to replenish one, I just run it through the printer again and just eyeball. Like, I can turn this part off and it'll just print that little section and it'll line it up perfectly. So that is, I think, the route that I'm going to go instead of cutting out those little stickers and trying to apply it. That way it's front and center when people are leafing through them, where the dog name is and the SKU number for us during checkout. Like I said, I'm not the only one that will be doing checkout, so I could see how this would look like a pit bull if you looked at it quick, especially if you're not. If it's been a while since you've worked on them, like the main breeds, like that's a bulldog. But once you start getting into ones that you don't know, it can get a little trickier. So having the name and the SKU number under there for checkout reasons will make it a little easier on us. So I did get that all set up. I'm going to try printing off a few and seeing how it looks, because I have some blanks down there, and running it through and seeing how it looks. But that was a huge undertaking, and I got that done last night. And then at lunchtime, we will tackle the email signature in actual Gmail, and seeing if that works, and show you how I did it. I'm not going to show you how I designed it. I mean, it's just my logo and a background and pulling some of my brand colors and stuff. So that will look different for you. But I can give you the dimensions that I used and all that good stuff. So I'm going to get started on this email signature in Gmail, because I know we can kind of get that done in the 15 minutes, hopefully. In Gmail, if you're looking to add a signature, this is where you will go. So you'll select this icon here up at the top right that's got the stacked dots. That is your settings. You'll scroll all the way to the bottom here. I think it's somewhere here in the middle. Did I miss it? Let's see, signatures. So right now it's saying I have no signature. So I didn't set mine up through Google or Gmail. I set it up through my mail app. So I'm going to set it up here, and then I can disable the one in the mail, because anytime I send it, I'm thinking it will send it with the new signature. So I'm going to hit create new. I'm going to name it Crafting with Glorious Purpose. Whoops. And then hit create. And then over here, I'm going to paste in my information. So I have my name, title, business name. I have the email, website, and then the handles I have for Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I do have others, but those are the ones that I use as my main. I am on Pinterest and I am on TikTok, but I'm not active on there. So I just put those ones for now. But my image has all of my handles or thumbnail logos in there. So I'm going to leave those and I'm going to insert the picture at the end here. So you can insert a link and you can insert a image. So we're going to look at the link after we get the image in there. But that way I think you can create these into links to take them right to your website so they don't have to copy and paste. So I'm going to try doing that next. So I'm going to go to insert image. I think I'm going to go, if you go here to upload, you can browse and get a file, and I already have it in here as my email signature. So I'm going to insert that. And this is what it did on mine. Like it made it like giant. But when you click on the image, you can actually reduce the size. So I think large is decent because it's about the width of my information. I think medium's too small to see what's going on. So I'm going to go with that. And then we're going to look at making these actual links. So I don't know if you do this and you make it a link. Oh, yeah, there you go. So yeah, you just have to click it. I was hoping I didn't have to go and paste all that. So then for my Facebook and Instagram, I would need to put those in as well. But I don't know the exact wording on those, so I'm going to have to do some recon. But I want to give these a try and see if that works. And I guess there's nothing else you need to do. I don't see where it says to save it. So I think that's at the end here. You hit save changes. I got the stuff in Gmail, but it's not showing up in Mail as a signature. So when I added it, it actually had an option that there was a signature for Gmail. So when I hit that, it didn't add it with the image. So now I got to look deeper into this, and now it's 8, so I can't go any further with this, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm almost there. Yeah, it's so weird. It's only showing my name and my Gmail or my email address under the second signature, which it should show everything that we pasted and the image, and none of the stuff is showing up as URLs either. So I think Mail might be having a problem seeing that. So, and I don't use the web version. I use, because I have other Mail accounts, my personal and stuff, and I have it all linked through Mail. So whenever I get an email, I can see which account it's coming from. I don't ever just go into gmail.com and use their interface. But even when I go to compose an email there, I'm not seeing a signature. So I don't know if it's because I haven't typed anything. Yeah, I'm not seeing a signature. So I'm going to have to test that out. And I don't have the time for that right now. So that will be another problem for another time. So at least I know I can get the image in there. I just got to figure out how to do it and get everything synced up. So on to work, and then I will catch you at lunch. Hello, hello. It is lunchtime. So I realized I forgot about my Roddy. I had it done. There were a couple parts that when I weeded, I weeded a little too quickly and I ripped them off. So this is how I remedy that. So I recut the piece in a piece of scrap vinyl. So you always end up with little scraps, and I don't throw them away for this main reason, because I definitely don't want to pull out a full sheet to cut out these tiny little pieces. So what I end up doing is I weed the little pieces that I need, and depending on how the piece is, placing it in the spot where it's missing, or I put the transfer tape on the design with the missing piece, peel the back off, and then line up where this needs to go, rub it on there, pull this piece off and then put the transfer backing back on, and it's perfect. So that's what I'm going to end up doing, is repairing this. So I'm going to bring you down here so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so here is my little guy, and the part in question is here. So I just recut this whole piece because I figured that'd be the easiest way to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and weed this, and like I said, still having issues with my Cricut cutting the whole way through, which is kind of driving me more than a little crazy, but it looks like, oh, it works like it worked. So this was the piece that is in question. Super, super duper tiny. And so what I'm going to do is remove these the two pieces that did stick and take those off. And then I can just use this to grab it. And then I'm going to get let's get my transfer tape ready here. And I love this big sheet of transfer tape. I am so glad I got this. I've had this for like, I don't know how long. I've made so many accounts. It's stupid that I've not even put a dent in this. So I got, make sure that that's cleaned off. I'm going to put my transfer tape, whoops. And this part doesn't have to be straight because you're going to trim it down anyway. And then pull this out of the way. So then what I do is I get my squeegee, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, I pre-pill all of my decals to make sure that they work before I give them to the client, just so that nothing stays behind. And if you've never peeled these before, what you'll do is you always pull from an angle. You never want to pull straight up. You want to pull at an angle. So if anything does come back up, you can kind of push it back down. So got a little piece here. And his eyeball didn't come up, so I'm going to rub that down. So, they're looking pretty good here. And I always pull from multiple ways because you never know. There you go. All right, so the part in question, and I'm going to grab a little piece of parchment paper just so I can rest my hand on it. I'm going to pull this back, and I'm going to lay my little piece here where it needs to go. Give it a press, and voila, all fixed. So now I can actually put this back down. And my body is fixed. So that's the little area in question, is right down in here, and you can't tell. So it's easier to do the whole piece. Like I was going to do just the one that came off, but just wanted to make sure that it stuck down and it was new. So this is all set. And now I can give this a good cut. You definitely don't want to give a client a messy transfer. I like to cut it and make sure that all the edges are nice and straight. And then that way it goes into the folder and it's nice and clean. So he is all taken care of. So now I can put him in the folder. What I am going to do is I'm going to test out my data merge. So I have one of these already made up with the front printed, the back printed, and the label and the alcohol wipe already in it. So when I put this in, I just have to print this. So I'm going to actually send this through. And I will show you what my data merge looks like. So this is InDesign. This is the preview after I have done the data merge. So if you look real closely, what it ends up doing is when you have it in the preview mode, you can go through all the dog names. So they're all in here by pages. So when I do the page merge, then I'm left with the front and a back for each of the dog breeds. So if I wanted to print another one, I can. In this case, what I want to do is I want to hide this this part, because if I don't, what will happen is it'll print again, and I don't want to do that since my decal is already printed. I want to hide that, but I only want to print this part. So I'm going to go up to Object and hit Hide or Command 3 and just print page 133. So in here where it says current page, you'll want to just select that and hit print, and that will give us just this printed. When I send this page through again, it'll just print this little part underneath. So let's go check that out. And there you go. We've got our Rottweiler printed with our SKU number underneath. And this way we have it ready to go. And I can just keep throwing those through as needed and printing out just the dog breed. So I have my dog sits on top of this, just like that. And it won't be in the way. Some of them that have the dog ears that come up here, this will fall in between. Even if it's covered up a little bit, you'll still get the gist of it, especially if it's a dog. If it's your dog, you're going to know what breed it is. So this turned out actually perfect. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing for these newer ones. But once the old ones run their course, then I don't have to worry about putting these little stickers on, because that, to me, took up more space. So that's what we're going to go with. So I had to break in here. Just heard that Ozzy had passed away, which is gut-wrenching, since he just had his big concert just on the 5th, which was my husband and I's wedding anniversary. I don't know. You know, it hits you when you have somebody so iconic that, you know, you listen to growing up and just kind of became part of your day, you know. Like I have Ozzy on my playlist I pretty much hear a song every day from him. I mean, he's got, not only with his Black Sabbath days, but just solo career. I mean, it's kind of obvious if you have any of his albums in your playlist, you're going to hear it more than once. And yeah, it's just, it sucks. But he had an awesome career and definitely impacted a lot of bands, a lot of musicians. And I'm not a musician, but you know, I was grateful to have seen him 3 times, twice with Ozfest and once on his solo days. And yeah, probably one of the best shows. So it sucks. Hello and welcome to Wednesday. So we're at lunch. Made myself a yummy sandwich, and I'm going to try to get some stuff worked on. I have been listening to Ozzy at probably very unhealthy decibels today in this little craft room. I have my little Sony speaker up here blasting, and I you know, just trying to make it through work today. And I have Ozzy, you know, kind of helping me power through. I also had to dust off the 96 Retirement Sucks tour that I had seen him on, and take the shirt out of retirement. It's one of those shirts that I wore a lot and then decided that I didn't want anything to happen to it, so I put it away. So yeah, I had to pull it out because if any day I'm going to wear it, it's going to be today. So today is Aussie playlist, as loud as I can have, that I can stand it. And, which is pretty loud because I walked upstairs I left it playing and came back with my sandwich, and it's like, whoo. So, you know how when you start listening to music and then it keeps getting turned up a little louder until you didn't realize how loud it was. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. I have completed the decal. So these have the names on them. So these were the new ones that I created. So I have, that's going to be my going forward. So since these ones were the new ones, this way I didn't have to make the little stickers. But the ones that have the stickers, that way I know that those are the older merchandise. So I'm going to try to get rid of those first. And then as I replace them, I'm going to do them with the new way. So on the agenda for today, I am going to work on a new decal. I drew it up last night on my iPad. So I have, let's see here, if I still have it up on here. I worked on it last night while watching TV. And this is my new one. I realized there are a lot of crocheters out there. So I thought, why not make one for that group? So I made a little heart with yarn and then the little needles tucked in. So I have that created. I'm going to get that cut up today. I'm going to send it to my design space and get it prepped. Probably make two because it's easier to do two up, and get that ready to go. And then yeah, I went through Square. I was able to add a couple. For some reason my SKU numbers were all jacked up, so I had to go through and fix that. So I kind of ran out of time yesterday fixing this little stuff. And so yeah, that's where I'm kind of stuck. So I'm going to work on that today at lunch. And I'm also going to, yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I could kind of work on in between. I did get Google reviews. I gotta get that up and going. I did actually get a Google review, so now I believe I can hook it up with some widgets into my Big Cartel. I was doing some of the recon on that to see what all I needed to do to make that happen, and it looks like they do integrate with each other. So this way I don't need to just rely on Farah. I can actually have it with my Google business account, which I'm kind of glad because I hate having 8 million things and passwords for everything. So if I can get rid of Farah, I'm fine. Yeah, so I need to do a little more research on that before I go and do a tutorial to show you what I actually did. And then I did order some more paws, little charms for these. So I have the little charms that go, let's see if I can get this to focus, the little paw charms. I found those in the Amazon haul section. So I ordered those, and I think I touched on this on Monday. I got new mats and a couple other things that I knew I was going to need to get my free shipping, because you need a $25 order to get free shipping. So I kind of added some cello bags and some more heat thermal labels for stickers and things like that to kind of get myself up there. I didn't want to buy things that I was not going to use anyway. So I did that just to get those, because like I said, I think the pack of those 100 paw print charms last time I ordered them were almost $10, and they had them on there for $3.99 or $3 something. And I was like, yeah, I can't pass that up. So I got that to replenish it because I still have a good bit of my keychains left. So I did want to make a few cats to take for in-person events, and then make that as an offering on my website that you could get cats as well. I've been heavily focusing on the dog portion of it only because I have dog shows. So the dogs are usually the first thing I make, but I do have cat stuff. So I need to make sure that I have both represented. And so I think that's what I'm going to do next, is trying to get cat related stuff up on the website. And I am noticing an uptick in my Big Cartel new visitors to my website. I think I've said before that I can't see how many people are on my site that have already visited, but if you're a new visitor, it'll show, and it's showing the counter. So I've actually had an uptick in views between June and July. I've had almost 400 new visitors to my website, which is amazing. To put that in perspective, I had 62 in May. And over the course of those 2 months, I've had almost 400. So that's a good thing. The most viewed product, which kind of blew me away, is my rhinestone t-shirts, but I've not had any orders for them. So I don't know if it's the designs that they're not looking at or what is causing them to not reach out. Second is my shadow boxes, of course, which is my other big ticket item. So that is probably going to be my next thing, is to try to offer some more rhinestone t-shirt designs. So I have a few up there. I don't have a lot. Like I said, I don't promote too heavy that I have t-shirts, but they are being looked at. So that's a good thing. Yeah, so that's going to be my plan of attack. First, I'm going to attack this sandwich. And then I'm going to start working on making this decal. Hello and welcome to Thursday. So I got these done yesterday. So I'm going to put these up in my, I don't know if I'm going to put them on my Big Cartel shop or just for in person. But I have these ready to go. They have the transfer tape on them. So these I've put in my basket of things to add into Square as new items. I also went through my list of gift card holders that I had sold, and it's a pretty lengthy little list. So my hopes are to make 2 of each, just to have them on hand. I figured if I'm cutting 1, I can cut 2. The assembling time will be longer, but I will already have them made. So what I have at the moment is at least the cups or the mugs are cut. So these are my templates that I use. So I have them in all the colors except for green. I ran out of green. I can't find, and maybe I'm looking in the wrong place, so I might have to look again. But I pulled out these colors. This is what I was able to get cut before I had to log in this morning for work. We are now at lunchtime. It is beautiful and sunny, and I am super ecstatic about that. So yeah, I got the reds, purples, blues, and pinks cut. But yeah, I do need to find my green. If I don't have that colored green, I do have more of a lime colored green, but I don't know if that will work. I think the darker green looked the best. And I also have to keep in mind, if I do change that color, I need to change the thumbnail on my big cartel for whenever I list them during the winter months, because the picture will not match what you will get sent. So if that is the case, I might have to take that one off and change it to a different color. But cross that bridge when I come to it. So at the moment, I've got all of these cut. I'm going to set up the Cricut while I'm working on other things, to cut the marshmallows and the swirls and all that kind of stuff, because I have a bin of white scraps and I use it for that. So that way I can cut, I'm just basically cutting rounded boxes for my marshmallows and for the, you know, the swirl patterns and stuff. So that way I don't have to use a full sheet to cut those. But yeah, I have them listed out as which ones are marshmallows, which ones were the cream tops, whipped cream tops. And I can get those sent to Cricut, figure out how many I got to cut. And that can be going while I'm working on other stuff. So the other stuff would be, let's see, I took care of my new decal, so I can cross that off. Let's see, I'm trying to think of what would be the best use of my time. I think the only thing I really have left, other than I can't really make the keychains till I get my little paw prints, and I think those are arriving, they said August 2nd, so I won't get those till Saturday. So there's no point in hurrying up and making those. I can kick that off till next week. I think I might try to work on my new bandanas. So I have quite a bit of fabric, and I have a lot of scraps of vinyl that I'd like to get rid of. If you had seen, my entire drawer down here is filled with a whole bunch of iron-on vinyl. I wouldn't put it on t-shirts only because, you know, we use DTF now, and I'm not going to sit and weed and cut out HTV for that. But for dog bandanas, I think DTF is a little overkill. So I can make that with the bandanas for sure. I currently have in my little box here some pre-cut ones. So I have some some of my bee ones left. And I have some other plain ones cut and ready for sublimation. And then these are ones that I already made, but sublimating on them, you get the ripples because they've already been stitched. So I'll have to think about what to do and use these ones for, but I have all the sizes already cut and ready. But I do have these ones that I made. So this one is the Cricut fabric, or Cricut infusible transfer sheet, and I recreated it in Illustrator and did my own colors. So I do like their blue better than mine, so I just have to tweak it a little more. Theirs is the one on the top, so it's a little bit of a lighter blue, and I like that better than the darker. So I might look at maybe making it a little more green. I think it's a little more teal. And I did more of a, you know, brighter turquoisey blue to green, lime green. But I think the greens are pretty spot on. Like I think I got that. I think mine's a little bit darker, but not by much. So I was thinking of using these, if you can imagine, you know, them as a dog bandana this way, making this it's my gotcha day instead of my bark day. So that way for the rescue pets. They actually have one that says it's my gotcha day. So I wanted to have some of those as an evergreen type bandana ready to go. So I'm going to have those. So that was one I definitely wanted to make. I still have all this in here that I can make into bandanas or wristlets or whatever. That's all my sublimation stuff. So I think I might work on what designs I was looking to do for bandanas and maybe try to knock out some of those designs while I'm thinking of it and have the time, while my Cricut is cutting the other stuff. So let's get going on that and see how much we can get done. So when I'm using my cardstock, my white cardstock for my shadow boxes, I'm always left with this width at the bottom. So these are what I make my gift card holders from, so I don't throw them away. So I have this whole little stack is all scraps of white. So I will never ever have to use a full sheet of white to do any of these ever. So I'm going to cut, I think, a whole bunch of these marshmallows and swirls so that I can have them ready to go. I can put them in one of my little boxes. And then when I have scraps of time that I can, you know, ink them, I can have them all ready, and then it would be just assembling and gluing them. So I'm going to use up some scraps and see how many of these I can get cut. I think I got a bum blade. Honestly, I do. This is ridiculous. Like, some of these cut perfect and other ones, like, it didn't go the whole way through. Like, can you see that? Like on this one here, it's still very much attached and it's just like scored. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to change it to another new blade to see if it's, maybe I got a bum blade. I've never had this happen before where it just decided to cut random, like it's not even the same side. Like some of these, it's just random. Now, if I wanted to do this and make little windows, like it would cut the whole way through. Oh. So last time I got blades, I made the mistake of buying the ones that were silver. These ones are the gold ones. And this is my last one that I have. And I bought a few of them. Our Target was clearancing a bunch of these, and I'm hoping to God that's not why. But they were sealed. I mean, it's not like I bought something that was opened and somebody returned it. Like, these are, you know, they're blades. They don't expire. Like, they don't get dull if you don't use them. So I'm going to have to replace this one and see if it makes a difference with cutting through my cardstock. If it still continues to do this, I don't know. Like, it was cutting these very weird. It cut this part to the correct speed, and then it would go to here, pause, cut here, pause, cut here, pause, cut around the edge, pause, do the straight. Like, every time I did a bend, it was hesitating. Never did that before. Like, it would just go and cut the whole thing. Hoping it's not dying, because that would suck. But So I'm going to change the blade and see if it makes a difference. So riddle me this, Batman. This is also a new blade and it cut it perfect. Why was it giving me such a hard time with the exact same setting with this one, with a blade that was also new right out of the package? Like, I maybe used that blade 10 times, maybe. Yeah, I don't understand it. I cleaned it. It was even catching on some of these, like it was dragging along instead of actually cutting. So I don't know. I must have gotten a defective blade in that. But these all turned out perfect. So my marshmallows are cut. So now I'm going to tempt fate and try cutting the whipped cream. So I'm going to just do the strips this way and try to eyeball them on my design space and see how that goes. And then I can take these down a little better. But yeah, I think I can get 3 across this way and try to see as many as I can get on one sheet. Hello and welcome to Friday. So I didn't realize how long this video ended up being, so I apologize for that. But I did get I got everything to cut, so everything's in here for the Cricut, for the gift card holders. So I do have a couple other things. I have like the candy canes on some of them, so I'm gonna work on cutting some of those, maybe this weekend, maybe that'll happen next week. But I kind of want to get everything cut and kind of so I can build these assembly line and not spend a lot of time on them. That is going to do it for this week's vlog. I think I have a couple other things to work on. Don't have a lot of plans this weekend, so I think, you know, probably take a week to relax. But I am working on a shirt for myself, so I can't sell this one. But I'm making myself a rhinestone Aussie t-shirt. So I've started the painful process of adding my rhinestones. I do have a technique where I can go in and add rhinestones where it's not manual, but I want this one to be a nice tight design and I couldn't get it to work the way I wanted it to, so I'm doing it manually. It's not a huge design. It's going to be really small on a shirt, and yeah, I think that's going to be for me so that I have one. I was going to make one long before the events of this week and never got around to it, so this kind of catapulted it to the front as a tribute. So I am going to love and leave you. I hope that you have a fabulous weekend, and I thank you for stopping in and watching this video. If I can answer any questions, or if you have any comments, I would love to hear them. So please leave them below. Give me a like or thumbs up, and subscribe if you don't. I would love to have you. We'll be hitting everything hard in the next few weeks, because our next show will be August 13th. So we have some things we need to replenish, but I also want to do some new things. So I'm hoping that this next couple weeks we can get some work done. So I will catch you then. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you next time.